Evening. We're going live. lsfl4u broadcast on this beautiful Thursday evening, August 10th. Wow. August already. Crazy, isn't it? A lot going on. So tonight, I've got news and we'll do some August history things that happened. Let me move this down. Some things that happened in August. I always like to do. So I hope all of you are having an awesome end of summer. The kids are going back to school in the next couple of weeks. Teachers are heading back now, getting ready. So it should be an exciting, really good year. I'll do the topic of school. I'll try to get a list of what to bring, things like that, and just stuff like that, you know. So so I'm continuing our Bible group with the Gospel of Luke, and we will be on chapters 21 and 22, I believe. We'll be doing that, continuing that, and topics, news, positive news. This is an unpolitical channel, never will be a political channel, and we do topics on life, faith, family, health, career, and positive news. No negativity here on the most part. I try to stay as far away from the negative social media news as I can. So stay away from it. I look up news on my own, independent news sources, things like that. Um, so don't watch TV. Don't watch the news much. Boring. Don't have much of a life. This is it. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what I enjoy doing so much. Is everything I do is just for the broadcast here and to proclaim the good news of God's kingdom and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You don't have to be a Christian to enjoy what I do here. That's fine. Or agree with everything I say. Makes the world go around, right? Agree to disagree. That's the beauty of who we are and what we are and where we're at. We could do that. So anyway, I don't have much of an opinion on much of anything. And if I do, I'm not speaking for everyone as a whole, just myself individually. So if you agree, okay, that's awesome. Well, if you don't agree, that's okay too. Like I said, to each his own. Everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got an idea and of what's in, but on the most part, Americans are, we're all in the same boat here. So anyway, um, uh, so anyway, that's what this evening is. So we're gonna. Why isn't my soundbox coming up? Let's do this again. There we go. So anyway, so yeah, boy, August already. Uh, still kind of. It's warm. It's summer. And sorry, I apologize for not basically. I never finished the topic of summer and doing that. So never was able to finish the topic of summer. So anyway, I went through what amusement parks, cruises, I believe. So I apologize for that. Things happen, and getting away and things happen, right? So anyway, let me check and uh, I'll make sure this is even coming through. Okay, for us, this is coming through. So yeah, I do have a comment at the end, my own, my own, and you may or may not disagree with me. That's okay. That's all right. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Good. It's all good. All right. I like to I like to make sure we're coming through audio, video. The camera, the web camera didn't work. I got on tonight. Sometimes it does. It's touchy. It's temperamental. It is what it is, right? So I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. So without further ado, I won't waste your time. I hope I don't blab too much. Let me find it. Here's some things. Here's some August history.
You're jamming with the hottest disc jockey. Disc jockey.
All right. Here's some stuff that happened in August. The first Michelin guide is published by brothers Edouard and Andre Michelin as a hotel and restaurant reference guide to encourage more road travel and boost tire sales. And Firestone Tire and Rubber Company is formed, and the U.S. issues the first Lincoln penny. Harriet Quimby becomes the first U.S. woman to earn an Aero Club of America Aviator Certificate. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
And the first electric traffic light is installed in the U.S. on the corner of East 105th Street and Euclid Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. And Little Orphan Annie comic strip is first published in the New York Daily News. And Harry Houdini stays in a coffin underwater for an hour and a half before escaping.
Wow.
And Don Juan is released by Warner Brothers, and it's the first feature-length film to utilize the Vitaphone sound on disc sound system with a synchronized musical score and sound effects.
Wow.
Okay, that was 1926. 1926. And Carl David Anderson discovers and photographs a positron, the first known antiparticle particle. And George Washington quarter goes into circulation. And the Marijuana Tax Act, making marijuana and all its byproducts illegal. And the first Jeep is produced. IBM, first program controlled calculator, the automatic sequence control calculator, is put out. An earthquake of magnitude 8.0 hits northern Dominican Republic. Ouch. That's an 8.0. Man. And a 6.4 earthquake strikes Tungurahua province in Ecuador. Sorry for my pronunciations. And Hurricane Connie hits the U.S. for 11 days. And Elvis Presley this month released Hound Dog. And the comic strip Andy Cap makes its debut. And the U.S. first class postage goes up to 4 cents. Yeah, that was 1958. 4 cents. And the Billboard Hot 100 is published for the first time. And Poor Little Fool by Ricky Nelson was number 1. And Explorer 6 transmits the first TV photo of Earth from space. And Chubby Checker performs his version of Hank Ballard's The Twist on the Dick Clark Show. The rest is history. The Twist went on one of the biggest dance crazes in history. And then he came back with let's do the twist like we did last summer. Okay, you know what? Why not? Why not? Why not, right? Write it. And the Beatles has their first gig as house band at Liverpool's Cavern Club. And the first quasar is located by radio. And the Prometheus, the world's oldest tree, aged at least 4,862 years old, is accidentally cut down in Nevada. Oops. How can you accidentally cut down almost a 5,000-year old tree? Oh, man.
You're an idiot.
Oh my gosh, man. What the heck? How can you wow. I bet that person, got quite an earful. And the Beatles single, "A Hard Day's Night," goes to number 1. And President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Voting Rights Act prohibiting voting discrimination against minorities. And the Beatles released the 5th album, Help, which became, from the soundtrack. And the Lunar Orbiter 5 is launched. The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour debuts on CBS with Jimmy Durante as guest. And Paul McCartney forms Wings. And Russia launches the Mars 6. Joan Jett forms the Runaways in England. And Radio Shack introduces the TRS-80 personal computer. And Hurricane Helene hits Texas in the Caribbean. Endless Love by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie won Billboard's Song of the Year. And Purple Rain by Prince goes number 1 for 24 weeks.
Wow, absolutely incredible.
And the space shuttle Atlantis 9 is launched. And Tim Berners-Lee World Wide Web, WWW, debuts as a publicly available service on the internet. And the Ramones perform for the last time at the Palace in Hollywood, California. And I was fortunate to see them. And this was 93 at the Palladium in LA. And unfortunately, Dee Dee wasn't with them. It was CJ Ramone playing the bass. Still awesome. I got to see 3/4 of the original members of the Ramones. Not the original, because Marky was playing drums and um, what was it? Tommy was the original drummer. Their producer or their manager was their first drummer, and Marky was their second drummer and stayed on. But yeah, it was CJ on bass, not Dee Dee, but still incredible. It was really cool. And Microsoft invests 150 million in Apple Computer.
Wow.
And Discovery 23 is launched. St. Louis Cardinal first baseman Albert Pujols becomes first player in baseball history to at least hit 30 home runs in each of his first 5 seasons.
Wow, absolutely incredible.
And NASA's Phoenix spaceship is launched. And later, they launched its Juno space probe to orbit and study Jupiter. And Apple becomes the first American public listed company to reach 1 trillion in value.
Wow, absolutely incredible.
Crazy. A 6.9 magnitude earthquake on the island of Lombok, Indonesia hits, and it did a lot of damage. Let's just say that. Did a lot of damage. And a 7-year-old boy operated on after 526 teeth are found inside his mouth in Chennai, India.
Wow.
7 years old, and 26 teeth. And that's nuts. That's crazy. And fossils from Ica Desert in Peru may be the heaviest creature that ever lived, heavier than the blue whale, named Perusitus colossus. And the heavier bones mean it could have weighed 85 to 340 tons.
Wow.
Where you go? What do you do with that? Wow. Heavier than a blue whale. The Perusitus colossus. Crazy stuff. That's wild, but cool at the same time. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So anyway, that's some stuff that happened in August. Interesting stuff. So that's some news. Some positive news. That's all I do. It's positive news. Let's get to it.
Started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have come in and we have.
I do positive news. Nothing really negative. Nothing negative. Positive. Upbeat.
It's raining tacos. Raining tacos.
There you go. So anyway, which is cool. So 40 truckers rally to fulfill a lonely 8-year-old boy's birthday wish. A simple birthday wish made by an 8-year-old boy in Hamilton, New Zealand has garnered an incredible response from the trucking community. Katherine Johnson's son Oliver, obsessed with big trucks, she posted on Facebook offering $50 to anyone willing to take him for a ride in their truck for his 8th birthday. She also mentioned that Oliver did not have any friends to invite to his birthday party. Since the social media call, dozens of truckers from across the region have pledged their support and will be converging on the young boy's birthday party, fulfill his dreams of going for a truck ride. Hart Coolidge owner Barry Hart saw the social media post and organized a truck convoy just for Oliver. That's really cool. That's what it's about. People coming together and making it special for people. And it's sad that, someone you hear that don't have friends to invite. And I did the news story on one girl, her invite, no one even showed up. I don't quite understand and see where things are going with that and why, but that's awesome because people pull together and make someone's life. God gives us angels in all forms. A stranger buys blind lawn care provider a new trailer and mower. The kindness of strangers has allowed for a blind entrepreneur to boost his lawn care business. James Porter runs a small lawn maintenance business in North Tonawanda, New York. Because he is legally blind, he cannot get a driver's license and has to walk to all of his customers and transport his heavy equipment with a hand pulled trailer. But when his trailer broke, a stranger stepped in to help. Paul, the gentleman's name, bought James a new trailer and new lawnmower to reward him for his hard work. That's awesome. Help a guy out with his business. He's blind, and that's awesome. Guy's blind, pulling a trailer with his lawnmower and stuff in the back. That's, you know, helping the guy out, you know. And a community rallies to raise money for hardworking boy whose e-bike was stolen. How frustrating is that? A local community in Sydney has come together to raise funds for a hardworking 11-year-old boy whose beloved electric bike was stolen, leaving him devastated. Zach worked hard to buy his e-bike, helping launch a clothing business called Manly 2095 with his mom. Zach learned how to build a website for the business, design the company logo, and work the staff at the markets, or the, I'm sorry, let me, I'm having reading issues this evening. Zach learned how to build a website for the business, design the company logo, and work the stall at the markets every weekend. He also donates 10% of his profits to children's charity Royal Far West. Zach finally saved enough money to buy his new bike, and the bike was stolen along with other possessions from the family's apartment when they were out of town for a few days. Those who would do that,
You are one pathetic loser.
You suck, you jackass.
sad, but people in these times do whatever it takes. They don't care. Sad, but the boy got a bike back. That's awesome. Has his clothing. Good for him. And scientists accidentally discovered how to turn humid air into electricity.
Absolutely incredible.
Researchers have stumbled upon an accidental breakthrough that could revolutionize the field of renewable energy. By harnessing the power of humid air, scientists have discovered a novel method to generate sustainable electricity. The journey towards renewable energy sources has taken a significant leap forward thanks to a fortuitous accident that occurred during a scientific experiment at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. The sensor, comprised of protein nanowires grown from Geobacter, produced a very small electrical signal. Yeo and his team discovered that any kind of material can harvest electricity from air as long as it has a certain property. And scientists are currently experimenting with new harvesters made from materials filled with nanopores smaller than 100 nanometers. The newest device they have come up with is about one-fifth the width of a human hair,
Wow.
enough to light a single pixel on a large LED screen. However, Yayo says these devices can be stacked on top of one another to create more power. And since humidity is ever present, the harvester would run 24/7, rain or shine, at night, and whether or not the wind blows, which solves one of the major problems of technologies like wind or solar, which only work under certain conditions. While this discovery is undoubtedly exciting, it is important to note that further research and development are necessary before large scale implementation becomes feasible. Scientists are diligently working to optimize the materials, enhance efficiency, and explore potential applications in various environments. Very interesting. And experimental eye drops brought back a boy's eyes to see. A teen born with a rare condition that causes blisters in his eyes can now see again thanks to gene therapy eye drops. Antonio Vento Carvajal was born with dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa, a rare genetic condition that causes blisters all over his body and in his eyes. He's legally blind for much of his 14 years, but his skin improved when he joined a clinical trial to test the world's first topical gene therapy. That gave Dr. Alfonso Sabater an idea, and he had multiple surgeries to remove scar tissue from his eyes, but it would always grow back. His vision kept getting worse, eventually deteriorating so much that he didn't feel safe walking around. When Sabater learned about the experimental gene therapy gel from Antonio's skin, he contacted the drug maker to see if it could be reformulated for the boy's eyes. Suma Krishnan co-founder and president of research and development for the Pittsburgh-based drug company, said the idea made sense and it didn't hurt to try it. After 2 years of testing, the eye drops got compassionate use approval from the FDA. Sabater was still very cautious and started treating only one eye with the drops. Doctors recently measured the vision of Antoni's right eye at a near perfect 20/25. This year, Sabater began treating Antonio's left eye, which had even more scar tissue. That one is also steadily improving, measuring close to 20/50, and that's pretty good vision. So amazing eye drops, and hopefully this will become something that can really help people see. And God gives us so much. It's amazing. A man and his dog survived 3 months at sea on raw fish and rainwater. An Australian sailor who had been adrift at sea with his dog for 3 months has been rescued by a Mexican tuna boat in international waters. Timothy Shattuck, he was 54, had set sail from the Mexican city of La Paz for French Polynesia. A crew of Mexican tuna boats spotted Shattuck about 1,200 miles from land. The crew gave him and his dog Bella medical attention, food, and hydration to drink. Wow. Shattuck told Australians 9 News television that he and Bella had survived on raw fish and rainwater after a storm damaged his vessel and wiped out its electronics. Man, that's like the old man in the sea, you know, surviving the elements and nature, and it's crazy.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
A blind woman asked for help and was told that's not my job. So an officer stepped up. A commuter witnessed a New Jersey Transit police officer going above and beyond the call of duty to assist a blind woman in need. The commuter told New Jersey Transit Police that the blind woman asked an employee from another agency for help but was turned down after being told, "That's not my job." That's when she saw Officer Shane Gallagher walk over to assist the woman. I walked over and asked her, "What's wrong? How can I help you?" And I immediately noticed her eyes were closed. Officer Gallagher recalled. The woman told him she needed assistance getting food and coffee and that she was feeling faint. Officer Gallagher gave her his arm, and the two navigated Penn Station together. They talked along the way, and he ensured she secured her food and coffee. What in the blazes? If you work anywhere, I don't care what it is, what you do, what agency you work for, if someone is in need, for the love of all that's holy, help them. Hello? It's not my job. That's not in my job description. Okay. What if that was you? What if that was you? Oh, well, that's different. Is that any different? Wow. It's not my job. It is our job to help our fellow man. That is our job when they need it. Hats off to this officer. That you won't hear on the news. Sick. A firefighter rescues woman trapped in treacherous floodwaters. A firefighter in Deerfield, Massachusetts is being hailed as a hero for rescuing a woman who was trapped inside her vehicle amidst raging floodwaters. Deerfield Assistant Fire Chief Ben Clark was happened to be at the right place at the right time. God sends angels in all forms, I told you. He was out surveying storm damage when the roadway suddenly gave way and the vehicle in front of him plummeted 15 feet straight down into an intermittent stream They had become a small river from catastrophic back-to-back flash flooding events. He says Ben immediately called for assistance while he gathered his rescue equipment. And this was from the Deerfield Police Department. And Ben made his way down the embankment and rescued a trapped individual out of the vehicle in a high velocity small river. The water was flowing over the vehicle's headlights. An ambulance arrived and took the woman to Franklin Medical Center, and authorities did not release her name, but the police said she's recovering well from the ordeal. And a woman spent 3 days crawling through cockroach infested storm drains to rescue puppies. A Houston woman has spent 3 grueling days crawling through cockroach infested storm drains to rescue a litter of helpless puppies trapped deep in the city sewers. The rescue mission began after someone reported seeing a litter of puppies crossing the street, but they lost sight of them and could only hear whimpers. Callie Clemens, her dog Giselle, and a group of volunteers have been scouring storm drains looking for the dogs. The group had managed to save 2 of the lost litter. Clemens said there are 2 others underground that she can still hear. The volunteers have been using dog sounds on their phones in hopes that they can get some type of response from the remaining puppies. Volunteers have waded through unpleasant water and braved nests of cockroaches in their quest to locate the lost puppies. That's cool to save these puppies. Most people was like, oh well, you know, oh well. Unprinted, unprecedented number of sea turtles nest in northern Palm Beach County. Researchers have uncovered a record number of sea turtle nests in the pristine shores of northern Palm Beach County, Florida. According to the Loggerhead Marine Life Center in Juno Beach, 21,406 nests have been documented this year. The nonprofit Sea Turtle Hospital said that the previous record was set in 2019. The nesting area includes Juno Beach, Jupiter Carlin, and Tequesta. The season runs from March 1st through October 31st. The total number of sea turtles nests include 14,998 loggerhead nests, 6,768 green turtle nests, and 215 leatherback nests. Very cool. Very cool. It's always good to hear when animals return and populate, and because we destroy and that's what we do, right? That's awesome. And a 2,000-year-old biblical era coin is found inscribed with Holy Jerusalem in ancient Hebrew.
Wow, absolutely incredible.
Israel Antiquities Authority announced that it found a rare silver half shekel coin from the time of the first Jewish revolt against the Romans over 2,000 years ago in the Judean desert. The discovery electrified the Israeli media and the biblical and archaeological communities due to the coin's historical significance. The coin was located as part of the Judean Desert Survey led by Israeli Antiquities Authority together with the Ministry of Heritage and the staff officer of the Civil Administration Archaeology Unit in Judea and Samaria. The international community refers to Israel's ancient biblical land as the West Bank, while Israelis refer to the region by its biblical names of Judea and Samaria. According to a press release from the Israel Antiquities Authority, these coins were minted in the value of shekel and half shekel at the time of the first revolt of the Jews against the Romans in Judea between the years 66 and 70 CE, when the Second Temple was destroyed in Jerusalem. The coin is dated to 66 to 67 CE, and one explanation for this is that the Jerusalem minted coin fell from the pocket of a rebel who escaped to the desert during the revolt, perhaps on his way to nearby En Gadi Jewish rebels at the time created a Jewish revolt economy and minted their own silver and bronze coins. The leaders of the Jewish revolt chose to defy the rulers and to mint silver coins autonomously using the Hebrew script and without the image of the ruling emperor. Ooh, ooh. It seems that the coins were minted in Jerusalem, possibly in the temple precinct. Mm-mm-mm. And here's what I love also, an addict's redemption story. Anytime I hear someone who is down, been on drugs, hit rock bottom, it is it's just so uplifting to hear success stories. And a former opiate addicted turned Ivy League educated lawyer returned to the very courtroom where her life changing journey began. This time, she stood not as a defendant, but as a legal defender, successfully exonerating an innocent man accused of murder. Between 2012 and 2015, Sarah Gadd had 7 felony drug convictions going in and out of jail in Pennsylvania and Hennepin County. She landed in the Cook County Jail during a trip to Chicago, which she described as 27 days in hell. She was beaten, stabbed, raped, and thrown into solitary confinement when her family started making noise and reaching out to people. And Kathleen Zellner was interested in her case because she's had a lot of negative experiences with the Cook County Jail and just how they treat people. Zellner, a well known attorney made famous by the Netflix documentary Making a Murder, never seen it, I don't know, stood by her side and invited her to help at her law firm. This was the chance Gadd needed to change her life. That case and what moment inspired Gadd to go to law school. She was accepted into the University of Chicago Law School. That is awesome. You need to hear, you need to read about anyone that turns around and makes good and they're blessed and does that shit, absolutely. And the last story, if you have a chance, go see the Sound of Freedom movie about the child. I believe it's about child sex trafficking or human trafficking. Please go see it. Of course, they're not going to tell you how well it's doing in the box office. They're not going to tell you that people are paying so people can see it. Other organizations or churches or whatever, they're not going to tell you that. But God is in control and is good, and it needs to stop. People that do this to kids and women and boys, girls, women, and the trafficking that goes on. It's sick. It needs to stop. That's all. It needs to stop. Whatever we can do as a country to stop it, it needs to be done. Texas rescues more than 900 smuggled children at the southern border. Through Texas Border Security Mission Operation Lone Star, Texas DPS troopers have rescued over 900 children being smuggled into and through Texas from Mexico by human traffickers. DPS Lieutenant Chris Olivares announced it, and among them was a recent rescue in Maverick County in Eagle Pass, Texas, where troopers found a 5-year-old Honduran girl who'd been smuggled into Texas by 3 adult women who weren't related to her. The women found the girl in Piedras Negras, Mexico, and then brought her with them as they crossed illegally into Texas between the ports of entry. Authorities said she has been brought to reunite with her mother. However, her mother had died 3 days prior. The girl told troopers her father was still in Honduras. She was turned over to Border Patrol. In a recent traffic stop in neighboring Kinney County on a major local smuggling route, Troopers pulled over a driver of a black GMC Sierra. The driver, a Mexican national who was illegally in the U.S., said he was coming from Houston to pick up friends. The trooper observed 6 passengers in the rear area of the truck and later learned they were all in the U.S. illegally, including 2 children. When asked how the driver was related to another passenger in the car, the driver said they were just friends. When asked what his friend's name was, the driver said he only knew the nickname. What about the people in the back seat? The officer asked. They were his friends too, the driver said. They're all friends. Yeah, okay. But he also admitted he didn't know their names or where they live. You know, if you're buzzed, just you're busted. Don't try to, you're going to play stupid. Okay. When the trooper asked another passenger if he knew who the driver was and what his name was, he said the same thing, a friend. Later on, through the conversation, the driver admitted that someone from Mexico texted him an address to pick up a group of people who'd illegally entered Texas. They're not in the country legal then, the officer is asking him. Are you being paid to take them somewhere? The driver said he wasn't being paid. But all smugglers are paid several thousands of dollars per person depending on where they are taking them. This driver is completely playing dumb, don't know who they are, they're just friends. All right. As to people in the car, who's the driver? A friend. So they have these kids threatened, scared, brainwashed into what to say if in case something does happen like this. Yeah, that's going to get them out of it. Okay. All right. Okay. Where are we? So the driver said he wasn't being paid, and law enforcement officers have explained to the center square, and Houston is the primary human trafficking hub in Texas. The driver was charged with smuggling of persons, and everyone inside was turned over to Border Patrol. DPS troopers are also arresting criminals, including sex offenders and those in possession of child pornography. A DPS brush team recently helped arrest a Mexican national and coyote who was illegally in the U.S. after he guided 4 people across the Rio Grande River into Texas. On the coyote's phone were pictures and videos of child pornography. The Texas Rangers took over the case, and the Mexican national was charged with possession or promotion of child pornography. DPS troopers are also identifying MS-13 gang members who are hiding in family units as they illegally cross in Texas. In a recent case, DPS Criminal Investigations Division trooper assisted Border Patrol agents with a large family group after they illegally crossed the Rio Grande River in Eagles Pass. They noticed an adult male from El Salvador trying to conceal himself in the group and apprehended him. Using facial recognition, they identified him as a possible national security threat with ties to transnational organized crime, as well as confirmed he was an MS-13 gang member with 8 prior apprehensions and street-level drug dealer. He was turned over to Border Patrol. It's happening. Sex trafficking, kids, is happening. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Whatever we need, whatever this country's got to do, it's got to stop. Because people are suffering. Children are being used in for trafficking. It's got to stop. So pray, please pray for the end of it, and pray for our country. bad stuff going on. So anyway, that's the broadcast. So I didn't want to end with something to talk about. And of course, agree to disagree is the U.S. women's soccer team. Okay, you can't help, but now the media is once again making things completely, for me, stupid. It's a joke. It's a joke. So they lost. Okay. Am I? Well, yeah, I'm bummed. I who doesn't root for their country on the most part? You know, who doesn't? But the media, the players, not all, it turns into a political circus as usual. As usual. Turns into a circus. And that's sad. Everything has to be political. So they're blaming Republicans for being homophobic in the one article. And that the one gal did not take a knee during the national anthem. And that was said it wasn't out of protest for the country. Well, she loves her country. It's for, of course, um, the way people are treated and the brutality of police, whatever. You know what? Whatever. Yeah. I, so, how about this? It's a bummer you lost, but stop blaming everything else when you lose. You lost because the team was better than you and played better. How about that? How about just say, what was it, Denmark, Sweden, whatever team it was that beat them last Sunday? They were better. They played better. And apparently we had penalties. That means we didn't play as well. The other team played better and we lost. How about that? Sportsman it's called sportsmanship. Being good sports. Well, I'm gonna go into the White House. Was the last one too when President Trump was in. That's your team. That's your team. So my thought was, how about keeping your political and lifestyle decisions off the field? You're playing a sport, play that sport. What you do off the field is your time, your business. When you're on the field, you're part of a team that's playing a sport. That's everybody. Doesn't matter what sport it is, baseball, football, hockey, whatever, soccer. You play a sport, play it. After the game, you want to rant and rave after the game. It's your business, I guess. What you do off the field, like I said, is your business. You've got social media, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, for your little whatever you do or you are or whatever to use it. We've lost. And being politically correct and then, not doing things and making a stand, so-called, you know, whatever, whatever. What a hoo-ha.
You suck, you jackass.
And all these articles that have been out never just said, you know what, the other team was better, we lost. Other teams are saying we were running our mouths. The women were running, maybe they were a little cocky, maybe they were a little arrogant. I don't know, but defending champs, right? So you lost. Suck it up. Be a good sportsman. Show some good sportsmanship for that doesn't teach our youth anything, our young kids anything, but be a bunch of overgrown babies, most of them overpaid. Boy, I'm going off. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people agree, and a lot of people are, but don't say it. Hey, that's great. You make millions of dollars playing a sport. Okay, more power to you. But some that act the way they do, come on. But we still pay. We still watch. We still buy merchandise. We buy their jerseys. We buy. So I'm just as guilty. I'm just as guilty. I'm a hockey fan, big time. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to follow and agree with what these people and these athletes represent or why they do what they do. It's sad, I think. So that was my little rant on this whole women's soccer thing. It's a bummer they lost. Man, it stinks. Man, yes. So one's gay or gonna marry a woman, so who cares? Okay? More power to them. That's for God to that's the you know what? That's not for us to that's God's gonna judge us. That's all. So what we do and what we say and our actions. So if you're an athlete, like I said, keep your political lifestyle then off the field. Play what you're supposed to play, a sport, and that's what you're paid to do, then do it. Off the field after the game, okay, game's over. Shake hands, for God's sake. Shake hands, wish the team good luck, whatever, best, and they're moving on. Better luck next year. Come back next year. Some won't, some might just get out of it, some might come back on the team. Good. So maybe we'll win it next year. But stop pointing the finger and stop whining and being a crybaby, pointing fingers and turning it political. Give me a break. So if I get in trouble for that, okay, whatever. That's fine. But I'm just saying, it's sad they lost, yes. But they're turning it into a freaking circus. To play a sport and show good sportsmanship. Anyway, that's that. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And please subscribe to lsfl, the number 4 letter U, on YouTube channel, on Twitter. You can see on Twitter. and I appreciate and I'm blessed to be able to do this. We'll be back with another Bible group discussion on the Gospel of Luke, I believe chapters 21 and 22. We're continuing. And after that, not sure, but praying on that, where to go after that one and what to talk about. So, yeah, I've got some topics. We have some topics to talk about back to school, other things. So we'll just keep on going and moving along. And thank you so much again. I appreciate it. So, anyway, we're going to be getting back to school already. I go crazy. So, anyway, that's that. So, I hope you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend. I'll be back soon. And good night.